Welcome once again to the Frontline Show, Intellectual Radio. My name is Tyrone Muhammad, as you know, Michael Creighton, and we got a special guest today, our great brother David Peterson. How should we describe you? Got so much. Just say the Pullman Porter Museum, or how should we?
Well, first of all, thank the Creator for blessing me
with
the opportunity to know you.
No question, brother.
Thank the Creator for blessing you with the vision to say, you know what, let me invite this brother on the show.
No question.
It was divine intervention, so I appreciate it, man. Just call me a community servant. We'll get into all
that.
We'll get into it, all of the rest of it as we go along. You feel me?
So, people, listen, we ready to go. We got a lot of we got a whole hour, or shall we say like 40 minutes to really chop it up and talk to our brother about maybe let's just say, I like to say God, self, and others. So you know, self is real, God is real, and others is real, and that's what we're dealing with as we work as on being a servant. We have to deal with others. With that being said, so you're welcome to call in, people. That's 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. Your calls are welcome. So I'm not going to waste no more time, because really I want to learn some history today from my brother David. And plus, then we're going to chop it up about the issues in the community, from the carjacking to this marijuana. And with that being said, Money Mike, this show, ECC, SC, and the Frontline Show is powered by hashtag support your local weed man. Hashtag support your local weed man. One more time. Hashtag support your local weed man. We most definitely got to get our little homies out here. You think that we watched the whole landscape of how our elected officials in our community have gone to prison for 40 years for selling marijuana, and now cannabis or weed, whatever politically correct term they want to call it. But now white men have been made in our city, in this state, legal drug dealers, legal drug cartels, while we still have black men languishing in prison for the same product that allowed these ones to make $100 million a month. Listen to what I'm saying. When you become, you're no longer a drug dealer. You're a cartel when you make $100 million a month. So we're going to get back to that. But we welcome our brother David Peterson, and please tell the people who you are and what it is that you know you do.
And I appreciate it, man. Well, I got the privilege and the honor, to serve as the president and executive director of the Pullman Porter Museum, the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum. We're the world's first and only Black labor history museum. 25 years old, independently owned and operated. So we not grant funded or supported by any city, state, or federal body. We independently owned and operated, independently managed. You know what I mean? And we just we do this work of interpreting and preserving our history, heritage, and culture in terms of labor organizing and the civil rights movement.
Man, you mentioned labor, bro.
Yeah.
So, that's a real.
These guys.
Why we still fighting? We still fighting, man. I've been on the front line saying, "Hey, let us in, man. I shut it down."
I'm gonna tell you why, man. The lack of discipline and revisionist history, man. See, them things killed us. Cause see, the thing is, the Pullman Porters. The Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. That's what the union was called. You see what I'm saying? And they were so cold with it, man. Like in the 20s, A. Philip Randolph said, "You know what? We're fighting for."
So real quick, quick history. Keep that point. Yeah. But real quick, for our young brothers, little homies out there that never heard of, that watched Tyrone Muhammad Frontline Show, that never heard of the Pullman Porter. Yeah. Give us a quick synopsis of what that was as it relates to, because the whole community is Pullman. Yeah. And what that looks like today.
So Pullman is the historic district of Pullman is 103rd to 115th Street, Cottage Grove to the Expressway, Bishop Ford.
Yeah.
In the 1800s, right after slavery, 1865 to be exact, George Pullman he created a whole town. You know, he was an architect, in the real estate, and he moved to Chicago from New York, and he came to the east side, southeast side, and around Lake Calumet, and he used all of the clay. He compiled all of the clay and then created his own town a little west of
this Lake Calumet. Black man?
No, that's a white dude.
Okay,
white George Pullman. So he came and built the whole town. Then he get the town booming. Then they start build and see because he came to Chicago because he was showing Chicago how to jack up the buildings and then create the sewage system. So we just still been flooding like New Orleans. Had my man not came here. You feel me?
Wow.
Yeah. So he was cold with it. I can't even lie. So he created this system, and then from there he just stuck around. But after that, he was trying to find people to staff his trains because he built palace cars. They was like hotels on wheels. I
saw some of the pictures of those cars and from your spot.
Man, crazy with it, man. So he was like, you know what? Let me go down south. These people just got out of slavery. I'm sure they could use a job. So he was, in all fairness, the first person to employ black people out of slavery. Everybody else was still trying to get the free labor. He was like, well, no, I'm gonna give him a job. So he went down there and he kicked it off, and it was on and popping. And then around 1894, they had a strike with the European immigrants. They rose up against them, so they called in the National Guard. People got killed. It was bloodshed out there, and that was before the blacks began to organize. So then after that, there were a few different unions that were that they put in place to kind of try to pacify the blacks from rising up, like as they did in 1894. They were like, okay, if the blacks do this, we got to get them in order now. But that didn't work. So what happened was, they wound up, having several different attempts at organizing, and it failed. So Milton Webster, he was kind of like, he was like a you. you got to study Webster because you
just gave me some homework.
I'm telling you,
man, you got to send me that whole name, text it to me. And you said good.
Milton Webster. He was cold. He was basically.
I pride myself on knowing the little history, man. You just stumped me on that one.
Yeah, he was the one that basically kept the brothers in order. You know what I mean? And then they went to go find A. Philip Randolph in New York because he had a paper called The Messenger. Yeah. And he wrote about the Porters, he wrote about their struggle. But in his paper, he was the only one talking about economics. So we were talking about way before civil rights. He knew what it was. Fresh out of slavery, part of the Republican Party. He was all about economics. Look, black folks, we need our own everything. You know what I mean? Marcus Garvey, when he first came to America, he met A. Philip Randolph. Randolph said, man, come to my spot. I want you to speak to everybody. So he came and spoke. He was so shy, he fell off the stage. Garvey, you feel me? That's my man. Me and him got the same birthday. Man. He the coldest with it. You see what I'm saying? So like I say, Randolph, he was basically the mentor to all of our greatest leaders. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, everybody. He got down with everybody. Yeah. And he was so cold because he understood the importance and the art of organizing effectively, sitting down at the negotiation table and then not leaving until he got what he wanted. Man, that's why he was cold with it. Missing that. That's why he was cold with it. So you know what I mean? In 1925,
it will be a strike. And you need those porters to work those trains.
Or it will be a strike. So in 1925, they organized all the guys from Chicago, and they was like, man, we about to take the train to New York. So they all took the train to New York. It was like hundreds of porters, and they all went to the Elks Lodge, and right in Harlem, right by the Apollo Theater. And they had their first meeting. And at that night, he said, man, look, what this is about is making you master of your economic fate. You know what I mean? You all are men. He appealed to their man. He said, man, y'all are men. We cannot let them do this to us. And they said, man, you're right. And on that night, August 28th, they formed the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. So even though they had their own union, they weren't accepted by the Pullman Company. See, George Pullman, he had already died. He died in 1897. So guess who took over?
His son?
Rob Todd Lincoln.
Get out of here, bro.
Come on, man. Yeah, look, man. This thing deep, man. This thing deep. It's the reason they don't tell this story, man. It's the reason they don't tell this story, man.
To this museum, bro.
I'm telling you, man, because in this story, what it outlines is how you can make a change, effective change. Because see, it was from 25 to 1937. These brothers fought on the low in a very clandestine manner to organize and be chartered under the American Federation of Labor. They already had their union, but they wouldn't be accepted by the company, so they weren't honoring them. But after the president, I want to say it might have been Roosevelt at that time, and he was the one he signed an executive order stating that you could choose your own union. So then after that, they all just flooded the union. They're like, no, we want the Brotherhood to be our union. Yeah. And then it was on after that 37, right? So once they got that charter, they understood how much of an organizing power and body politic they were. So they said, okay, you know what? We're gonna take this thing a step further. We're gonna organize all the guys, because they had chapters all over the country, because the trains was going all over the country. So when they would go down south, they'll take the Defender paper with them, and then let people down south know about the jobs up here and all that, what's going on. So that's how the Great Migration kicked off, because they was the ushers But the promoters, like, man, it's cracking up here. Y'all need to come get some money, you know? Yeah. So when they got up here and they realized, you know, everything wasn't what it's supposed to be, now they begin to organize, say, okay, you know what? We need to go to the president and talk about what we want. So
you're saying from the south to the north?
It's from the south to the north, the Great Migration.
Was any of them having any issues like with the Fugitive Slave Acts and things of that nature? Well, I know it was long before, but
absolutely.
You still have,
absolutely. I mean, but once again,
trying to get them back to the plantation.
That's primarily why they were coming here. You know what I mean? Because they were trying to leave the Jim Crow South. You see what I'm saying? So between 1916 and 1970, you had about 3 waves of the Great Migration. So 7 million blacks left the South, 500,000 came to Chicago. Wow. You see what I'm saying? So in 1941, they went to go holler at the president because Eleanor Roosevelt, her husband was real sick during this time. So she was taking all the speaking engagements. So A. Philip Randolph caught her attention because of what he was talking about. So she was like, man, you might want to listen to them, babe. You know, they got something going on. So she gave him the floor, and then they were able to have a conversation with him about, you know, doing an executive order because people were going away to the war, but they being discriminated against while they fighting for the country. So what happens is now they say, you know what, we're not going to do this. You know, I mean, this isn't fair. So they threatened to do a march on Washington. This is 1941. They say, you know what, if y'all don't sign this executive order, we're going to do a march on Washington. We're going to shut this boy down. And he like, well, no, the president. No, don't do that. We'll give you guys a couple of jobs. We'll do this with you. No, ain't no job, no none of that. We want an executive order. He said, all right, well, we'll do it. So they signed Executive Order 8802. And what that did was it banned all the discriminatory practices in the armed forces work-related fields. Now, a lot of the guys, they was salty at Randolph, like, man, we ready to strike though, man. Come on, we ready. And he's like, we don't go beyond the mark. We got what we wanted. Let's go. Now let's go get to work. But in 1963, they like, all right, that's it. It's on. You know what I'm saying? we taking it to where it needs to go. You know what I mean? And the importance of that is the teachable moment in that is, you know what I mean, sitting down at the negotiation table, getting what you need, and not going far beyond your mark, not wasting unnecessary energy trying to prove a point, trying to be seen, trying to be vain about it, as opposed to getting the work done.
To get the conditions a little better. Not saying that we're not going to continue to push the mark, but your capacity.
Take what the defense
what it is.
Take what the defense gives.
So, and then as we advance down the field, maybe we can do a trick play or something. We're going to flip a mistake. Exactly. We're going to come back with that, bro. We're going to keep it moving on the history. And I'm sure Mike have a question or two for you, but we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. Listen, people, man, this is good history, visionary history here that our children need to know about. So y'all come on back and remember this program is powered by ECCSC and hashtag support your local weed man. Once again, hashtag support your local weed man. Once again, hashtag support your local weed man. Go get your t-shirt. Go get y'all a hat.
Who's this? Who's that? Who's high? Who's now? Who'll follow? Who's hollow? Who's low? Who's bold? Who's deep in need? Who'll slay? Who'll bleed? Who will beg? Who will plead in the land of the free? Who's black? Who's white? Who's wrong? Who's right? Who will stand? Who will fight in the day or the night? Who is speaking? Who will write? Who's protecting copyright? Sell your soul, sacrifice for the fame in these lights. Let me know what's your price. Who's gonna hold these parasites? They don't care about your life. No emotion, cold as ice. Who's fire? Who's hired? Who's a boss? Who's a slave? Who's in purpose? Who's astray? Who's playing? Who's play? What's the cost? Who's paid? What's the loss? What's the game? What's your mind? What's your brain? What are the laws in this game? Who's wild? Who's paid? Who's a child? Who's a blame? Who's normal? Who's strange? Who's forgotten? What's your name?
Welcome back. Frontline show, Intellectual Radio. Tyrone Muhammad, Michael Creighton, and our great brother Dave Peterson, Pullman Porter. Man, let's get it, y'all. This is real history. And before I even ask David anything else, I'm gonna see if Mike may have a few things he want to say or ask David before David continue with this history. Man, it's great.
I do. Hearing you speak, brother, you got a lot of. First of all, you got a lot of a wealth of information and knowledge that I think a lot of people need.
Most respect, bro.
One of the things that stuck out to me was when I just said, I relate everything a lot to sports analogies, ironically. But back then, like I'm gonna give you a funny backstory real quick. When I was in prison, we used to have this running joke amongst the inmates in prisons that some of the guards wouldn't allow you to do certain things in certain areas of the prison. So we literally created sports analogy for that. So say, for instance, me and you as inmates, and we say, hey, man, we're going to try to sneak over here to the gym or do this.
Right.
He'd be like, no, bro, dude over there got D.
Right,
meaning the officer. He going to D you up. But to pull this all together is in that back in those times, the defense against these African-American brothers was so heavy and so strong for them to get, just to get 10 yards, and I think a lot of these kids don't understand today. They make this comparison in sports even today, how hard it was for you to score back, even in the NFL and the NBA back in those times when it was gritty. But back in the times when our people were just coming out of slavery and we were considered indentured servants, we still was faced with far greater defense than what we are today. And these kids, really, it ain't really too much D out here. It's right. D, but it ain't like it was back then. You ain't gonna get hung for fighting for your country. I mean, fighting for your rights and justice. And I'm gonna ask you, David, knowing that and knowing, what these brothers fought for back then, how could we get our kids today to understand that those guys fought up against a way tougher defense than we ever fight up against? Why don't we stand up and want more than what those guys fought for back then?
Man, I'm gonna tell you why, because it's all out warfare on the black family.
For sure.
You know what I mean? We have been tricked, bamboozled, hoodwinked.
Hey, run them up.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like the thing now is misogyny. Feminism, all of these things that literally and technically, covertly and overtly separates us.
For sure.
Right? Them brothers back then, they was standing with them sisters. As a matter of fact, the union was originally called the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, Dining Car Waiters, and Maids, because they went to battle with the sisters. Right? When they was sneaking in and out of town, trying to, organize these meetings and stuff, had the Pullman company looked at their timesheet and then saw that they wasn't at work and they was somewhere voting and doing with that, they'd have lost their job. So you know what they did? They created a ladies auxiliary for all of the sisters. They wives, the girlfriends, the female women, and right. So they was in the background, right? Wow. But really in the front ground. Because
were they supposed to stand instead for them while they were going?
So your girl, she voting for you. She your vote.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it go, right?
Sweet.
And then they can't raise money for their initiatives. So what do the sisters do? They having bake sales. A. Philip Randolph's wife got a beauty salon.
Because women couldn't vote?
What
was it?
It was. I don't know if it was that deep. It was more so just because they were supporting the men.
Okay, got it.
You know what I mean? It was one body. So all of these people that tell us today, you know what, we got to stand up for women's rights and all this, like that, y'all imposing that on our community. We wasn't even on that. Y'all brought that around in the 60s when you gave us a couple extra dollars that not had no men in the household. You see what I'm saying? So that was really the beginning and the end right there. Because I mean, how can we operate without the sisters? The sisters, that's our foundation. We come from the sisters. You see what I'm saying?
Slavery.
So we can't find the common ground. We gonna for sure lose and continue to lose and continue to. We ain't never gonna win
without that fighting. Level, though, because
we ain't never gonna win.
They understood that and understand it today on a grander scale. All of these positions, and I've been studying this across the country. A lot of black women are in position of authority. And business-wise, while we struggling to be men in our families, part of being a man is being a maintainer and sustainer of your household and your community, bro. So now they put these, and it's unfortunate. I call them enemies a lot of times. It's not feminism, masculinity no more. You got women who are the new gatekeepers of our communities now. It's no longer where you got black men in charge, and a lot of these old house Negroes are dying out. That was the primary gatekeepers. And because we feel a certain way about Big Mama, about our queens, we tend to stand down a lot of times on our sisters who are in the same position of authority as the brother. We'll challenge him, but won't challenge the sister.
Right.
And they ain't got wise with that for a long time. But what we don't understand is it's not about you being a female or a woman or a queen. We don't see you as a queen or a woman because it's not gender specific no more. Right. Treachery and deceit and sellout has no gender. At this point, our sisters are becoming across the country our enemies, bro. And that's a sad thing to say, but it's happening from every position. Thinking about that, every position in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago is held by black women, bro. But the conditions of our communities haven't changed. So with that being said, when you're talking about women standing instead, right, and for your man so that he can really be a man, do your vote, man, go handle your man business so you can bring that back because y'all
and I'm gonna take care of this.
Man, continue to speak on that, bro.
I mean, and I mean, I'm glad you went off into that segue because I mean that's important. You know what I mean? It's important that we stand together because there's so many different battles internally and externally that we fight while doing this work, while genuinely doing this work. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of people that do the work because they want to be seen. They trying to make a name for themselves. It's vanity. You trying to get a couple dollars out the game, right? Then there are those of us who have been literally commissioned and ordained by the Creator to the point where we wake up in the middle of the night and this thing it keeps us up at night. It wakes us up in the morning. This is a genuine passion, a divine calling. You like, man, I can't think about nothing else but this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. That
affects us differently. So that therefore in those spaces, more so than any other space, we need the sisters standing behind us.
Yeah. So we got a caller. Hey, caller, welcome to the Frontline show. Tyrone Muhammad, you got a question or response for Brother David?
Oh, good evening. Yeah, I would like to say, do you think that the brother asked a question about why we won't fight now and it was worse back then? That's a true statement, or do you think physical abuse and physical damage is easier to see, way easier than mental damage and mental restraint and mental guards that we have never been trained to watch out for?
That's powerful.
Would you say that is a more sufficient analogy versus we got it easier, we should be fighting harder?
No, absolutely.
Thank you, brother, for your comment.
Thank you for your call.
That's a
go ahead, you get a response.
Absolutely what it is. You know what I mean? Because once again, like I say, these psychological tactics, this is psychological warfare that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We're dealing with people. These are the same people that literally sat down in what we call the Council of Nicaea. Okay.
Yeah.
And the early hundreds before Christ, after Jesus, whatever, and said, you know what? Let's get all the politicians in the room. Let's get all the clergy in the room, right? Okay, now these are the books of the Bible. We're gonna take this one out. We taking this one out. We taking this one out. All right, this is what we gonna give everybody.
That's right.
Right. You know what? Matter of fact, in order for us to be able to control these people, we got to demonize them. We got to make them look like they the beast, so that it's okay to enslave them and do these mean things to them. So what we gonna do? We gonna take the genotype of their specific creation and make that the mark of the beast. So what are the components of carbon? The main element in melanin: 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. Who got the mark of the beast to those in the knowing? Huh? You see what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. They the beast, so we can do whatever with them. It's slavery now, right? So we talking about methodic thinkers like this that go so deep to say, you know what? We're gonna turn the sisters against him by making everything that they worried about superficial, so that you're not even worried about the passion that your man had. You worried about he ain't got you what you wanted.
Yeah, he materialist.
You know what I mean?
And
our sisters need it, but at the same time, our sisters are expecting us to be providers and supporters and protectors. What did the minister say? Man, your sister gonna try you.
Yeah.
Because you're a man. She want to make sure that you who you say you are.
No question.
You know what I'm saying?
She's never gonna wave it. That boy,
Never
that
gonna
mouth
wave.
don't let up.
Listen, at all.
Hey, so the next caller, how y'all doing on the line? You got a question or comment for Brother David?
No, this is Miss Hicks. How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Sister Karen?
This is Miss Hicks from A Few Good Women, and I'm digging this conversation because where we're all wrong at is because they've done everything in their power to come between us. The European man will never allow the woman to walk by him. In our race, the man and women are equal because we both know our places. Right now, neither one of us know our places. Just like the brother being there today with the Pullman. A lot of our black people haven't even been over there to see the history of that. The only way we're going to win is we got to go back. We got to go back to know who we are, what we are, why. Why was all this created? Because we as black men and women, we're equal. We are equal. You need us and we need you.
That's right.
And what this world has done is made us say, well, you're better, I'm lower, you're better. And it doesn't work like that. We're equal. Mm-hmm. When a real woman and a real man know who they are, ain't no argument. Mm-hmm. Because you all need us and we should want to need you. It's a big difference. The black man needs a woman. The black woman should want to need a man. Mm-hmm. But because we're followed the European culture, we're all lost and they're putting us against one another.
That's right.
And it's time out for that. It's time out for that. And when we talk about the men, there's a lot of cats out here, especially in Chicago. Chicago politics is the most dirtiest politics out. And most of our guys out here learned it the wrong way. So that's all you hear is you got to use strategy. Well, what damn strategy have anybody else been using when you can't even look out the front door of the black community? So who's a real strategist when it comes to the political game in Chicago? Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear another person tell me about you got to use strategy. You know what we got to do? We got to get at the table and hold people accountable.
That's right.
Every one of us
That's
out
right.
here done something wrong. And if you hold people accountable, we can change that. Let's change it, you all. Let's become intelligent with one another and get away from all the fighting and the attacking and the goofy stuff that we got going on. Hey, I love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, sister. Thank you so much for calling, sister. Peace and love.
Sister, brother, it's like I love Sister Lisa, good great Sister Lorraine, Glam Ambassador. She say, I admire you, T, but why you coming after black women? See, it ain't that I'm coming out. I'm being realistic.
We coming at the spirit of confusion.
We coming at that because, first of all, we all have roles.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, how do I say? If I was a man, this is what I'd do. What if I said if I was a woman to a woman?
Right.
That sounds kind of weird, right? Mm-hmm. If I was a woman, this is what I would do.
Yeah. Let me just say point of fact.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't be able to be sitting here today if it wasn't for a black woman. You see what I'm saying? Our museum was founded by a black woman, a single black woman. Let me say that. It wasn't no man in the background, puppeteering her or nothing. She did it by herself and went to war with them people. You know what I mean? And everybody, and everybody, black, white, purple, dotted, spotted, women and men told her she couldn't do it. She wasn't good enough to do it.
That's right.
Who do you think you ought to be talking about these Pullman porters? Don't nobody talk about them. People mad at her. I don't want my relatives to be remembered as servants, not even understanding how deep. Black
that
people.
Is, right.
You know what I mean? So that sister's right. You know what I mean? It's her passion and her feeling of rejection is warranted.
Yeah.
Because we as the warrior class, we got to come in here and break these doors down because our sisters don't feel protected. They don't feel provided for. Right. So as men, we got to we crying what the baby's gonna do. You see
and that's real because. And sisters, with all due respect, I can move the way we move at ECCSC without the support of our black women.
That's right.
Many black women that know me and the work that I do know I bust a window for them. I stand for them and give my life and sacrifice myself for prison to make sure they're respected. But what's happening, and I'm just only pointing out the reality. Mm-hmm. If you go from lieutenant governor all the way down the state line, bro. And then you get to the city, every city in the towns and the from the Harveys to the Peorias, there's black folks running these in these positions.
Yeah.
Then we get to Chicago, from the mayor to the state's attorney to the treasurer to Tony Preckwinkle County. She county. Then you get to water reclamation. Then you get to all these 18 aldermen. Bro, our women are in position of authority. It's not that, and it's so many millions and billions coming through their hands as policymakers that's not touching our community. Mm-hmm. Yet the men that's on the front line aren't the men receiving the funds to help protect God and to demonstrate for our community.
Yeah, passion.
We know this is real.
Passion and experience is being undermined consistently. Yeah. So consistently, you have people entering our community with this superiority complex, making it seem as if they're more inclined to do the work than we are. So what happens is the people who control the budgets, they'll create a budget for somebody to come in your neighborhood and do research, do reconnaissance, right? Yeah. Do all of this stuff, right? Meanwhile, somebody who was sitting right in the neighborhood, they could have did that.
That's right.
They could. What was wrong?
Why couldn't they? A white person to deal with ex-felons and prison reform, social justice, when you got brothers who've actually experienced this, who those people then hire guys like me, Mike, to run their program. Mm-hmm. So we're not good enough to control the resources, but we're good enough to
do the work
for violence prevention. Listen, I'm good enough to stop shootings and stop carjackings in Chicago, but I'm not good enough to control the dollars that come in my community.
I mean, it's just like the spirit and essence of philanthropy, you know.
For sure.
So the people in our community, they good enough to get a turkey and take a picture with, but they not good enough to get a job. Yeah. I don't want to ask you for a turkey every damn year.
That's right.
I want to go buy my own turkey.
We gotta get this caller, y'all.
Yes, caller. Let's go, caller. Thank you for calling in. You got a question or comment for Brother Dave?
Yeah, I want to comment. Hey, Ty, this Kim.
Hey,
hey, how y'all doing? I just happened to come on. Let me say this to piggyback off of what you just had said in regards to why the black men in the community is not receiving the funding, right?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So this is what I want to say real quick. First of all, the black men do not have the black women in the community back. See, those certain black women that's been in the community, they've been mentally abused. You understand what I'm saying? And overlooked because and a lot of them have been raped and people that ran trains on them, passed around all of this, right? So when you know a back history of a woman, and you constantly bring that up instead of looking at that woman as a person of potential. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes we overlook these people. We overlook these women and men. You know what I'm saying? And that is the real reason why the community is the way that it is, because the black men will go outside of their community and go elsewhere, and they will find them somebody else, and you done left the black woman in the community trying to fend for herself, trying to scrape up. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna get off real quick. As a woman of dominance, I do know my place, right? I know that a lot of men are also intimidated by my dominance. But I'm not the type of person that don't know how to know my place when I'm in the presence of a man. If you a man and you trying to show me that we can build on something, that's something totally different. But if you don't have a plan, how can you knock me and we can't even get nothing together? You the man though. You supposed to be the head. You know what I'm saying?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that's the only thing that I have to say. I could talk on and on, but that's all I got to say.
We're going to have this conversation some more for sure. Thank you for calling in.
And sister, just to let you know on behalf of all the men, we are sorry for the times that you haven't felt protected, loved, and appreciated. We apologize, and that's why we're here today, to atone and make sure that we make it right.
No doubt. I second that emotion. We haven't been the best. We haven't been taught to be the best.
That's
we
right.
don't know sometimes how to be the best to our women in our community. And we're dealing with the trauma and mental slavery that we've been given as well. So all of us are messed up.
Sure.
And we have another caller, comment or question.
Yes, my name is Claudine, and I'm hearing women jump in talking about Black men in the community. We need to stop passing that dialogue on, because I live in a Black community, and all I see is Black men helping women. There's no white man coming to shovel my snow, to help me build my house, to do the plumbing. Yes, they've made mistakes and they have a long way to go, but we need to stop passing that misinformation that we're not working together, because we are working together, but we have a long history and a lot of damage that happened to us. So we have to recover together. Stop saying Black women isn't this and Black women isn't that and Black man ain't this and Black men isn't that. We are strong and we could do it together. And I know this for a fact because I see it every day. I'm the youngest of 13, and all my brothers stand behind my back. Even my nephews stand behind me and make me stronger. So women, stop passing that misinformation. Yes, we have damage. Yes, we have hurt, but we have to heal each other. And yes, Black men date outside their community. Yeah, they do. They
women
have that
too.
right if that's their preference. And so do women.
That's right.
If that's their preference. But predominantly, we're working together. So please don't pass that message again. We need to stop even saying that altogether. We know it's a factor, but let's mute that comment, period, and start saying, what can I do? How many Black men can I put to work?
That's right.
I work in an industry that I'm going to hire as many Black men. I don't discriminate, but I'm going to hire as many Black men in my community. If I need a roof put on, I'm going to find a Black roofer, because when something happens in my community, it's the Black men that come and save me. So before you start saying, oh, they don't do this great, they don't do that great, but we'll go through 1,000 Hispanic workers, 1,000 Caucasian workers, and they'll do us dirty. But one Black guy make a mistake business-wise, and we judge him forever. That's a lifelong sentence. A lifelong sentence. Let's mute the comment. Black men doesn't do this, and Black women don't do that.
Thank you, Sister Claudine.
Thank you, Sister. Peace and love.
So listen, we're gonna come back in a minute. We're gonna take a quick break. But listen, this and come back and breathe on that once again. This is the Frontline show powered by ECCSC and hashtag support your local weed man. Hashtag support your local weed man. Hashtag support your local weed man.
Bud.
Who's this? Who's that? Who's high? Who's now? Who'll follow? Who's hollow? Who's low? Who's broke? Who's deep in need? Who'll sweat? Who'll bleed? Who will beg it? Who will plead in the land of the free? Who's black? Who's white? Who's wrong? Who's right? Who will stand? Who will fight in the day or the night? Who will speak it? Who will write? Who's protecting copyright? Say your soul, sacrifice for the fame in these lights. Let me know what's your price. Who's gonna host these parasites? They don't care about your life. No emotion, cold as ice. Who's fire? Who's hired? Who's a boss? Who's a slave? Who's in purpose? Who's astray? Who's playing? Who's play? What's the cost? Who's paid? What's the loss? What's the game? Where's your mind? Where's your brain? What are the laws in this game? Who's wild? Who's pain? Who's a child? Who's a blame? Who's normal? Who's strange? Who's forgotten? What's your name? Do you know me? Or do you know you? Are you in service or do you feel used? Can you afford time or are you on the grind? Are you future forward or do you press rewind? Do you feel sorrow or do you feel great? Do you get love or do you breathe hate? Do you shed light or do you throw shade? Is that mass produced or is it handmade? You believe the tales or do you know the truth? Are you a free thinker or no you need school? Do you heal the people or do you spread abuse?
Welcome back to the Frontline Show, powered by ECCSC and supportyourlocalweedman.com. Go on there, realizing this. This is one way to control the narrative. We're living in a city, in a state that has for 40, 50 years locked black men up for the sale and distribution of what we call marijuana, weed, whatever. When I was growing up, it was called skunk, cess, and we may have had 3 brands. Now they got 50,000 exotics. Every day is a different peanut butter under the syrup, under the red, under the green, under the cranberry apple blue. This is the blue dog under the purple skunk berry. They do all of this stuff, man. Sit in labs and splice seeds to create a plant or a flower that we have no power over, that they flood our community, and they set us up from the beginning when they came in our neighborhoods and allowed the Arabs and the Indian stores, corner stores, and gas stations to put blunts up there. Give me a Dutch under the purple green. Man, let me get that little blue. What's the name of them? Strawberry Dutch.
Back of the woods.
Back of the woods. Orange. They put that in the windows. They was all the time setting our community up for what was to be a industry that's dominated and controlled by white men. We have to be less than men and the family and the community that we will allow our sons, our fathers, our sons to be snatched off the streets for all of these years under the war of the 1982 Reagan war on drugs and the 1994 Clinton crime bill, filled the state of Illinois prison system, built the country prison system, and gave out-of-work farmers jobs while locking our bodies up to be fodder for the fuel for the fire of what it was to be a prison industrial complex boom. Now let's backtrack. We got a governor who ran, I believe, to be a governor make his crony drug cartel legal weed dealers. I want to just say this. As a man who's a multi-billionaire, why would I want a job that paid me $150,000, $180,000? It don't make sense. Logically, it's really irrational to deal with the stresses of unless the power.
Money don't mean anything. It's about power.
Y'all listening, people?
Money don't mean nothing.
It's power. And we sit back now. They tell us who can and can't sell. Everything is about us. The numbers they took from us, what they call it now today, lottery. Bootlegging, speakeasies, moonshine, legal now. Alcohol probably the worst drug in the world. Then now we got marijuana. You've destroyed our sons and daughters. We have pastors and politicians talking about expungement with no reparation, Brother David. No reparation to repair the years of abuse and destruction of our black family, the black men, the women. Y'all talking, we talking about that men being snatched away from households from the war on drugs that ultimately creates violence. That then to protect the weed and drug territory, now we won over space and place to sell poison to our people. Let's talk about it.
So, I mean, like I say, it all starts with economics. Once again, going to Randolph, what this is about is making you master of your economic fate. You know what I mean? We got to build our own economy that's self-sustainable and our own economy that can be transferred down from generation to generation. See, you know, one of my mentors, Joseph Watkins, the late great Joseph Watkins, who made his transition. You know, it was when I graduated from college in 2007, when I first got back here. You know what I'm saying? It was some guys that really, really took me under their wing, and I learned so much from them. And that was B.J. Shorty Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
That was Wallace Gator Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
That was Joseph Watkins. That was Paul and Mark.
Yep.
And they all grabbed me fresh out of college like, man, we need you to be the type of person that comes in because you've been where we haven't been able to go. So when I got there and I was on the front line and I seen that struggle and I experienced that struggle, it made me understand how important self-sustainable stuff was. And one thing Joe said to me, man, that it struggled with me on the inside. Man, he said, man, see, it's a difference between revolutionary and the nationalists. See, we black nationalists. Right. And I said, well, what is the difference? You know what I mean?
Right.
He said, see, some revolutionary, they gonna go jump in front of anything. They whatever's popular, they just gonna go jump in front of anything just to be doing something, right? But they not building up sustainable. See, we got to be focused on our permanent interest, which is making sure black folk have everlasting existence on this earth, making sure we can always provide for ourselves and protect for ourselves, and making sure we can preserve our history, heritage, and our culture. You see what I'm saying? If what we doing ain't lining up with that permanent interest, we're doing ourselves and our people a disjustice, and we wasting time and spinning our wheels in the dirt. You did. Right. So we got to start with the economy first, because people will philanthropically talk us to death.
Won't they?
Hey, you thinking that you supposed to be out here doing something for free? Meanwhile, it's a check getting cut.
And they using our issues.
Elected officials, black, white, purple, dotted, and spotted, will sit up there and come to the community and act like they on the same side of it. Well, you ain't with us. No. You have the capacity to go up in there where they cutting checks at. Go in there with them. When you come out here, show us where the band at. Don't be coming out here talking about some, we need to go find the money. Nigga, you got the money. You got it. Go tell us where it's at.
Right. Tell us who we need to rob.
So I say all this to say, man, we need to be getting these vacant lots. We need to be getting these abandoned buildings, and we need to be putting people to work. But beyond that, we got to send our people off to go to school for agriculture. That's right. So that they know how to go into these labs and make this stuff. Yeah. To pharmacy school, to business school, so that when our brothers who come from behind the walls want to start a business, want to get their resumes done, we got people who had the capacity to and strengthen them. Not people who went to school and you cock blocking. Wow. Yeah, you cock blocking just because you went to school and you trying to go take the opportunity for this brother just because he don't have the same education. That's right. Education don't mean nothing if you don't got no skills. That's right. If you don't got no skills and trades, you got to have both. You got to be double-breasted out here. We got to have education and we got to have skills, so that if somebody said you can't work for me today, well, I can work for myself tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So without education and economics, man, we are going to continue to lose. We got people thinking that they can just wake up and just be a civil rights leader. Just because you got a platform, right, or just because you can get on your social media and type something out. Absolutely, this thing is hard work, man. Yeah. I had an attempt made on my life, me and my family's life. I wasn't number 17 years old. I almost lost my life fighting for this struggle. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, this thing is real. Yeah, no. This thing, I walked up and down 79th Street with Father Flager in the 90s. You see what I'm saying? When watching this white man come to the neighborhood and fight harder than the people that look like me, and it blew my mind because I had been to church. I started going there. I was about 12. I'm 39 now. Yeah. I went into the church and I seen African statues. I seen a black Jesus. I seen incense and
see
African
that in black church.
I had never seen that in my life.
See that in black church.
It threw me off. The man walking around with African garb, and I'm like, yeah, what's going on in here, man?
What type of devil is this we was talking about?
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be back up in here. And after that, I've been an addict. You see what I'm saying? Like, because you know what I'm saying, he brought it to me in the right way. But I say all that to say, once again, because I get off on tangents because I'm so passionately driven by my conversation. I just go. I be gone. You see what I'm saying? But economics, man, without economics, our sisters won't even be able to respect us. And we got to accept that. We got to accept it is what it is. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but in every kingdom, every civilization, the man goes out there and he provides and he protects. Right, but the sister got to.
Said what you're saying is real. That's why he put her in position of authority.
Period.
It's no big. It's not a trick or trap. It's not
psychological warfare.
It is real.
Yeah.
She in authority. And sometimes it's hard to relinquish that authority when you get it, even if you're a black woman.
Yeah.
Now, because there's a lot of black politicians that's been in authority for a long time, bro, and our community still look the same way.
Way too long. We got to talk about that. You know, that's my partner in crime, our director of community outreach, brother Moo Jones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that's my man, and you know him and my brother Tom. You know, we started in Block 934.
Okay,
you know what I mean. We getting the hunters together. You know what I mean. and we bringing everybody together so that we can be our own.
You know,
voice.
Mook Jones supposed to be ECCSC South Suburb director.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
he been slipping. He been slipping.
No.
I hope he listening. Hey Mook, when you gonna take over your spot, man, so we can spread this thing out, man? You can do both posts. See, Mook got a lot of hats he be trying to wear.
Yeah. Mook everywhere, man. That's a warrior, man. That's one of the last of the dying breed, and it's important once again that we organize ourselves because it's people that's been in office once again 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? And not to take nothing from them, because like I said, I'm a congratulator. I ain't trying to take nothing from nobody. Hate on
man,
nobody.
I will.
Right? I will. Dig, man. Come on, man. Y'all know y'all in the way, man. Watch out, man. Y'all know y'all in the way, man.
He a good brother. That's why. See, that's why you got the all types. This is a good brother. Y'all ready for Brother David to try to peel you up, man, than for me. And I ain't gonna feel bad about him saving you because that's our job to save our people because you've been brainwashed too.
Hey, you know what Sun Tzu, one of my heroes who I studied, man. You know, who wrote The Art of War. You know, he always say, man, you know, you got to leave your enemy a little corner to get out. Don't back him in the corner because when you get him in the corner,
without fighting is best.
You see what I'm saying?
We don't want to fight, but I like to fight. I really do, man.
Yeah.
I want to fight every day if I could. Because there's enough doggone treachery and garbage going on that we need to fight every day.
But you know what? And while I'm on,
I'll let you clean it up, bro.
While I'm on the topic of that, right? I'm gonna let you hear something real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Because you know what I'm saying. This was a quote that I was thinking of when I thought about that same dynamic, right? So let's say when the common soldiers are too strong and their officers are too weak, the result is insubordination. When the officers are too strong and the common soldiers are too weak, the result is collapse.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And see, that's what's going on. Like our leaders is either too strong and then the soldiers behind them wimps. Or the leaders wimps and the soldiers like, man, you taking all day, bro. Watch out.
Hold on, wait on Jesus, bro. You gotta wait on the Lord, man.
Yeah, but see, the Lord told you, I'm in you. You go do my work. Right. If you was truly following that book.
Ain't no question.
You know what I mean? Jesus, they said he was a carpenter, but they wasn't saying he was a carpenter. He gonna build buildings and stuff. He was a carpenter because he learned to master the science of the soul. He learned to cut away at the rough edges of the self every single day.
True mason.
Come on, a true man. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what this thing is about, man. That's what things about every single day, making sure we better ourselves so that we can be better contributors to our community. If we not doing that, we losing. If our sisters can call in and say they don't feel protected, we losing no matter how many wins we got. If our sisters don't feel protected, we lost. Because that's who's going to sustain, that's who's going to keep the bloodline going. Yeah. We got to collaborate in order to do that. We can't do that separately. Y'all over here bumping, you know what I'm saying? And we over here, we can't do that. We got to be the warrior class that say, look, that's it. If anybody who condoning us coming against each other, y'all in the way. Y'all are the opposition.
That's right.
Because a black family, that's what this is about at this point. We got allies and friends and family members who of all different hues. That's fine. But anybody who is in the way of us sustaining ourselves, they're in the way. Sadly, about 80% of the people that come through the museum and keep the doors open be white people.
White folks. I know.
Come from around the world.
No, really,
I don't heard all type of accents.
Listen, probably 70% of my donation is white folks.
Man, listen. So
it's not about us as a community.
No. So what I'm saying is, you know what I mean? It's important that we collaborate and find allies with people that are supportive of us building a sustainable infrastructure for ourselves. Because if we are better providers for ourselves, we're better neighbors, we're better friends, we're better fellow constituents, all of that. But if we don't got none, of course we're gonna come knock you over the head.
I make that commitment here live that I'm gonna do better in promoting the Pullman porters and the museum.
I appreciate that,
brother. Randolph.
And hold me to that same regard.
And I'm gonna do more and be more proactive in donating and bringing little homies by to get their history.
Come on.
And so we have to do that and commit to one another and what it is that we're doing. So, with that being said, Mike, we got a few minutes left. And Mike got a comment, or you can just tell the people how they can find you, where they can go and look you up, and how they can support.
No question. So right now we focused on our Community Economic Development Empowerment Project, CDEP 2020. We started last year, and that's a neighborhood stabilization plan that's basically taking our neighborhoods back from the development perspective, making sure that we have ownership in our community so that we can sustain ourselves. And that's what this is about. And we partner with our sister organization, the Randolph's Dream Community Development Corporation. We all about making people master their economic fate. So between that, so now we've come together with the museum to create what we call a social enterprise.
Yeah.
You can reach us, PullmanPorterMuseum.com. All the social media platforms, we there. You know, A. Philip Randolph, Pullman Porter Museum, Randolph's Dream. You know, I'm the plug fella on everything. David Peterson. You know what I mean? So you all just link up with us because we consistently have stuff going on, but we don't worry about having lots of people. We just want to have the right people because it ain't time yet. Yeah. It ain't time that the Creator has forced us to quarantine, to sit back, observe, work on ourselves.
Great knowledge.
Strengthen ourselves. So that's what we really doing right now. The museum's closed for general admission, but we open for private tours. So if you want to get a tour, something, just email us, reach out to us, call us. You know, we'll open up for you. But we're not doing general admission. But we want you all to come and stand with us because what we're doing at that museum is carving out the cultural identity so that we can have a neighborhood where we say our history is protected and preserved, and nobody's going to come in here and whitewash it, and nobody's going to come in here and appropriate it without us standing up in solidarity and saying it's not happening.
No question. Well, with that being said, bro, we thank you for coming in, Mike, ECCSC, and
much love, man.
I will support your local weed, man. Thank you for the love, and also, bro, we're about to do the shutdown with that Sister Charm Tim on that Sitco. We're going to own that as a co-op. That's going to be the first black gas station going into 2021 that we're going to own as a community. I done told them they don't listen. They're going to see how much power we have when we have cooperative economics and how we bring it about. So with that being said, people, thank you for tuning in. This is a Frontline show on Intellectual Radio, and we'll see you next week.